recording. We're back from after, well, a very eventful tournament, both inside and out. Whether or not we discuss that, it remains to be seen. But a hell of a tournament out in Knoxville. We are here for laying it down with Big D, of course. I, of course, am Andrew Big D Morrow. And today I have the pleasure of getting a man who not just stumbled in here, but like fought to get in here. He's walking around on crutches right now. Fought his way to walk through land, stumbling his way around. I have got NoVa Vaknin here. How are we doing today, Noah?
Killed the pronunciation. That was good. Did better than all of my graduations. So good start there. Yeah, I'm doing great. In consideration of the crutches, it's nice to be sitting down or generally laying it down on the bed next to me. But yeah, I don't know. Doing good. Very fun land that we just came back from. 800 million people asking me what happened to my foot or, if I'm okay and whatever. So I appreciate the concern and you know, yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, what did happen?
Yeah, I was on my way to the doctor uh, for non-foot reasons, and then they became foot reasons as I limped my way onto the subway after a false step. Um, after I got in, I was so close to just being able to sit down on the train and absolutely faltered. And I remember feeling like I needed to throw up as I dragged myself onto the train. Um, Yeah, that was not fun. Crutches also were set at the wrong height, so I was not even using them properly, which explains why my ribs were all bruised up from that. But other than that, I mean, made it onto the train, made it to the doctor, so that's good.
Okay, well then by the power of deduction here, if you call it the subway, do you live in New York?
Yeah, from NYC, yeah. Born and raised.
You live in New York City?
Well, currently I live in Jersey City, but I grew up in New York City for the first 18 years, and then I went to Philly for college, and then when I came back, my family pulled a fast one on me, and now we're in Jersey. But
They pulled a fast
yeah,
one on me.
I'm crashing with my folks until I can get a long-awaited software job and get a role on the career side of things. But until then, yeah, I'm pretty much 5 minutes from the city, so it's still not too bad. But I do miss, you know, not having to lie when I say that I am living in New York City because I just do, but I also currently don't. Very unlike my upbringing, Jersey City. It's weird to have like quiet sometimes.
Yes. I wandered away there for a moment because I'm listening to everything you're saying. Oh, I found it, guys. My freaking vape, dude. Cat's, cat's
Flew
trying to
into the corner of the room or something.
the cat's trying to hide it from me, little bastard.
There you go.
But we got it now. Well, yeah, dude. I mean, yeah,
Locked and loaded.
whatever. You live in New York City. You're New York City born and raised. We don't. Anybody that says you're living a lie is a bastard and
Agreed.
can fuck right
Agreed.
off. So by my southwestern sensibilities here, you're definitely in New York City.
Thank you.
Uh, do you hang out with Jerry Seinfeld often, or Kramer, or
On occasion, Kramer
Ross,
is
or
my
Rachel?
neighbor. That's You'll be able to hear it at some point in the background.
Does he do a
Close
big
to the
fly-in?
door. Yeah, of course. How can you not? How can you not? No, but you actually do meet a lot of people, like famous people, just kind of pretty frequently. At least I have a lot of those types of connections. Like my soccer team when I was a kid. Like I was friends with people that I didn't even know that their dad, for example, was like an Olympic gold medalist basketball player they also played for the Lakers. Like I like Neil deGrasse Tyson's son was in my league also, so he showed up to games sometimes. Like, uh, my older sister was is in a punk rock band here, and like friends with a bunch of musicians in New York City, um, like the Strokes. What's his name? Julian Casablancas. So you kind of stumble into a bunch of weird stories and relations like that without realizing it, I guess, by being there, here, over there, where the city is. But it's really fun. I don't know. It's cool to have like a story kind of ready to go, no matter what comes up.
Yeah, dude. That's sick. Well, I'm thinking about moving up to the Northeast. So
Do it. Yeah, for sure.
it'd be a big change for Big D, but you'd be stuck with me at every single frag event for real.
Do
And
it. Do it. Do it. The Rowan lands need you. It'd be great.
dude,
Monthlies.
I would love to. Well, I'd come play at a Rowan Land sometime. I think I'd want to enter one of those tournaments or just play some land. If we could get some land 10 mans going, that's really
They
what I
happen every single month. There's a land 10 man
really
every single month. Yeah,
yeah.
genuinely, yeah.
And see, that's the kind of thing that like that's what I want to like be up in that area for is like going and doing that kind of thing for real because the game just hits so much different on land. Well,
It's a whole different world, yeah.
speaking of the game here, Noah, let's dive right into the Noah lore here, and let's go back in time for a moment. I'm gonna have to start switching these questions up on you guys because the whole point of the show is to not be like an interview thing that anybody can like prepare for, but I literally overheard like groups of people talking about laying it down with Big D at this last LAN, and
That's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
okay, you little literally. Shout out to Braxton Pierce as well, random new subscriber to my channel. Yeah,
Damn.
I see Brax subscribes to my channel. I'm like, that's not the real one. 113,000 subscribers on his channel, professional
No,
gamer. I'm like,
that's
oh
the real
shit, that's the real fucking swag,
one.
dude. Holy shit, dude. I've been watching you for years. So, yeah, as this thing is starting to blow up, I got to switch these questions up on you guys. But I'm not going to do that to you right now. I still want to know where we all start. I guess that was really just a self plug about how we're doing right now more than anything. So, thanks for bearing with us while we get through that. But uh, what are your earliest memories of gaming, and how did they lead you to Counter Strike?
Um, so gaming wise in general, I had a Game Boy. That's like I think where a lot of people kind of start playing whatever game I happen to get for a Hanukkah or whatever. But then moving forward from there, I had an original Xbox, so I played whatever I could on there. Honestly, I didn't really touch too many FPSs in general. Like I never played Halo like growing up. Um, I played a little bit of like Modern Warfare 2 on the 360 eventually, but mainly I was playing like SpongeBob games. Like I was young, so a lot of kid games, stuff like that.
Battle for Bikini Bottom, baby.
The best game, just it's the best game. Yeah, 100% did that. Even as a kid, my mom would help, my sisters would help playing like just any game other than an FPS. Pretty much, I was all over it. But at a certain point, I think as many people do, you get your first computer. I was probably like 10 or something. It was like one of those boxes. Very much not like a special gaming computer. And I was just, playing Minecraft, whatever. A lot of Minecraft, bit of Minecraft YouTuber arc, more Minecraft. And then finally, I discovered Steam TF2, playing TF2, accumulating as many of those boxes, like the cases of TF2 as I could, in an attempt to sell them so that I could buy Counter Strike because I saw Counter Strike on the Steam store and was interested, but we didn't have the scratch available to buy me Counter Strike at the time. So I fought tooth and nail for every case I could, and eventually, a lot of 3 cent cases later, I bought Counter Strike, um, and yeah, the rest was history. I mean, I was playing on a laptop at first. Uh, Again, not a good laptop, not a good desktop situation either, but kind of make do. I remember at one point when I first got my laptop and was playing the game, and I didn't have a mouse at the time, so I would play with my trackpad like and yeah, and the keyboard. And the thing is about like I don't know if this is an all laptops thing or just that laptop, but you can't really move or you can't shoot and move at the same time. So you can't click and swipe around at the same time on a trackpad. Um, so I would have to like aim and then shoot. I couldn't aim and shoot at the same time, so there's no tracking. But that was a very short amount of time before I realized I needed a mouse. Uh, then fast forward a little bit, I was in Silver 2 for maybe 2.5 years, which is absurd. I had a lot of matches at Silver 2 before I could get out to Silver 3. Uh, the road here was not easy, I'll say that much. I was
Hell
not
yeah,
mechanically
baby.
gifted. I worked for it, yeah. Literally the only thing I had going for me was my reaction time. Everything else, like how to use a keyboard, how to use a mouse, all of that, that was those 2,000 hours in Silver 2. But I started at such a young age that I guess I had time to kind of acclimate. I
Yeah,
played
what
my
year was
first
this?
LAN, 2014 maybe, around then, 2013. So I was like, yeah, I was like probably 11 or 12 the first time I played CS, and I went to my first LAN when I was 13. Um, so I was still really bad. It was like one of those like LAN parties kind of things, not so much like a frag. Even though frag was on my radar even at the time, because I remember talking to my parents and they said you're gonna get kidnapped if you go to a thing called Fragadelphia in Philly, run by some random people. So I was like, all right, I'll wait. I'll keep playing at these locals, and I remember there's like a picture of me somewhere. I could find it after, but Fifth Laren from NIP came to one of the LAN parties randomly when I was a kid, and you could see I took a picture with him because NIP was my favorite team, and you could see me absolutely crying behind a pair of sunglasses at the ability to meet him. Um, and he told me like, if you keep practicing, one day maybe we'll play against each other. I took way too long for that. He's been retired for
Yeah.
800 years. But but the motivation was good, and I got to meet Exist this weekend too. So that's two of the five. If I meet Get Right, I actually will probably cry again, despite the decade that has passed. But yeah, so playing lands early, eventually played my first frag. I remember playing against Asuna, the Valorant player, but back when he played Counter-Strike. Um, he and I matched week one of this 3 week stint in high school esports league. He beat me in high school esports league, knocked me out of that 2-0. Then we played on LAN, and he knocked me out of that, out of both groups and playoffs. We played him twice. That was my first ever frag LAN and really competitive LAN. And then he knocked me out of ESCA Open playoffs the week after that. So, a bit of a rivalry there.
Damn.
And yeah, I don't know. And then from there, just team hopping, not really hopping, more like team getting cut and trying again and fighting and not giving up and playing a lot for a very long time. And eventually, I guess that gets you to here.
And where are you playing now?
Like division wise, you mean?
Yeah, and with who?
I'm on Team Factor. It's like we're making some changes right now, but generally speaking, the goal of the team was get main slash advanced level players and play every single LAN. The original concept was fully local 5 New Jersey players and play at every single row into practice, play at every LAN possible, eventually get on the VRS leaderboard and be contending for, these qualities in these events. Because I think that there is really a gap that can be filled. And it's kind of a race to see who can get on that leaderboard before they fix the absolutely problematic VRS system. Um, but there's like, you can take advantage of it right now. I really feel like so. That's why me and Control built this team kind of together. It was his idea, and then I was like the second founding member. Um, but we ended up hitting a spot where there weren't enough local players that we could pull from that were also like available, like to be able to join the team, but also be able to like go to every LAN, and we're at the skill that we were like kind of hoping for. So we kind of had to make some sacrifices in that department. And then the last season went really bad. Probably the worst season that I've played, not individually, but like in terms of results specifically. But I have such a good group of guys that I'm playing with. It's me. So Control, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Control just retired like yesterday, because he got a job, which sucks because he's a big loss for the team. Aaron's Fury, who's like MSU, yeah, MSU player from collegiate, played against him a bunch of times there. He played advanced as well. Philippek, who's like a land demon. I think he was the highest rated player at a few of the Jersey frags, and he also like stomped Mythic this weekend, so that was pretty cool to see. That we like took a gamble on a player and it like very clearly worked. And then myself, obviously. Um, right now we're looking for two. So I'm going to use this platform to find two players. If you're like main advanced player and you want to come play with people that are really trying to do things the right way, long-term project, grinding out the scene, playing at all these lands, going for VRS, playing all the qualies, hit my line because I wouldn't still be in this project if I didn't believe in it. That's all I'm going to say. Um, but yeah, so hopefully brighter
Braxton
results.
Pierce, we're talking to you.
That's, yeah, get over here. Uh, we need the best that NA has if we're gonna make this happen. But I think that we can. And I think playing against Mythic this weekend, as much as it was like a mixed team of Mythic, like we were really competitive on the maps that we prepped for, and that was with two subs. So we lost in overtime 16-13 in one of our BO3s, and we lost 13-11 after making a 10-1 comeback and then just faltering at the finish line. But they weren't playing bad either. Like Ponalone was shooting big time. My op grandfather, as I say. Uh, but he he was shooting. Austin was playing well. Everyone was shooting, so it wasn't like a fluke.
Bibion's a strong player. Truck Lover and Cooper cannot be underestimated either. Like that's
Exactly.
mock Mythic all you want. Them showing up to land said a lot about like it was just nice to see them go there and make playoffs and not just shit the bed because those guys have kind of been a laughing stock for a little bit of time in our competitive scene, but that's because we're kind of comparing them to tier like high tier 2 or tier 1 NACS just because of the like spotlight that they have on them and so to
Yep.
see them show up and like actually perform on land and like get like they push take flight like they almost knocked take flight out of there as
Yep.
essentially a mixed team is what they
Yep.
are, but like they're the best mixed team in NA essentially, and it was kind of nice to see them go there. So no shame in getting slapped around by them.
Yeah, and also it was very nice of them to like we talked to them after. I talked to Pone a little bit and Control talked to Cooper a little bit about how he played and stuff, and they were like pretty forthcoming with their thoughts and advice and stuff. Even though we were also a mixed team, I think you can always kind of take and grow from those kinds of games. It was really really close, contested maps especially. I picked up a few different things just from playing against like Ponalone, like new angles that I want to try, stuff like that. So uh, yeah, it was great. Like it sucks we only got to play them twice essentially at the tournament, but if you don't make it out of groups, what can you do? And then yeah, like you said, they then went on to contest like very good teams in NA. So I don't feel bad about the result really at all. I've played a lot of like very good teams throughout my like career, I guess. And I've played a lot of teams close as well. I am on record with two separate 1v5s against Malbs on Team One, so that's pretty cool. Um, those are both online though. But we get to play against like good teams a lot, but it's nice to have the direct feedback of like they're willing to make the time to tell us, what we could improve or what they felt about playing in the server. So
Well, and I
it
think
was
that's
it
a
was great.
I think that's something that like more people should want to come to LAN as a spectator, even for that exact reason, right? Like, if you love this game, like, come hang out as a spectator because, like, once you're there in person with all of these players, you don't see the follower count, you don't see the viewer count, you don't see the subscribers, you don't see the aura around them, right? Like they're just another
Definitely.
dude that showed up at this place, or just another person that showed up at this place to play Counter Strike like you did, and like
Yep.
they like Counter Strike. So if you're like coming to them to like talk Counter Strike or whatever, obviously you don't want to like sit and like just fawn over people, right, and be a weirdo. But
Yeah.
even to a certain degree, like these guys are not real celebrities, despite what we think in our brain and in our world and in our online community, right? They're celebrities to us, but like in the grand scheme of things in their everyday life, they're just an average person
that like when they do tell somebody that they have this following or do this, people look at them like, what the fuck, are you kidding? That's what you do? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's crazy, right? Like they're not treated like a celebrity literally anywhere else than in these moments. So like even coming up and being like, oh my god, it's you, like to a certain degree they're gonna enjoy that kind of thing because it's like they get to have that experience, and like it's just so worth it to come down to land so you can interact with all these people and get to know them personally. That's why I'm doing this
Yeah.
thing, dude.
Yeah,
So we can all
exactly.
get to know each
It's
other.
nice. It helps build kind of like an open and welcoming scene too, when you know that people aren't going to be like, why are you coming to talk
Oh,
to me? I'm
why are
here to
you
like do my
talking
own
to
thing.
me?
Exactly.
Or kiss the ring before you talk to me or whatever. Like
Right, exactly.
nobody's like that, dude.
Everyone's super
Ponalone met me
nice,
one
open.
time, and I walked up to him on the third day or whatever. I was like, Ponalone, and I said Big Josh or whatever or something to him, and he's like Big Dean. Shook
Yeah.
my hand, and like these people are cool people.
Yeah, I mean, other than maybe specifically like Jackro, like who was there with me a lot of the time, I've been to
Jack
probably
Rose
more
cool
lands than
too.
most people. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like I've been to lands since I was like a very small kid, so
I could clip
um
that out and hurt Jack Rose feelings because I said
yeah,
these are all really cool people, and
he's
then you
also
go
a guy.
except Jack Rowe.
I think he's becoming a little bit of a celebrity too, though, with the whole land cord.
Hello.
Uh, oh yeah, there's my mom, and there's my dog.
Oh, there they are.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's gonna be like that. Do you remember that clip of Spongy or whatever? He's like on land, and his dad walks in without a shirt on during like an ECL match. Did you see that one?
No.
Like ages ago. There's another one where can't remember who it is, but someone's mom comes in and like tries to put a necklace on them in the middle of their ECL match as well, with the cameras, and he's like, "Get out of here! Like I'm in the middle of a clutch or whatever." Very funny, very funny. Yeah, I can't remember who it is. It's another NA guy, but no, yeah, these things are so welcoming, and they make you a better player, and it like integrates you into the community more. I've been through a lot of like downs and ups, and the community's kind of always been there for me or against me sometimes, but a lot of the times for me. So, you know, it a lot of times when people hear that I've been going to these things since I was so young, they're like, "Oh, that's a little weird." Like 13-year-old trying to block you, mom. If you can, yeah,
Hi.
thanks. um,
Hi, Mom.
yep. But honestly, she's a big part of it too. Her and my dad are both very supportive. So being able to go to these lands, I remember like housing people when I was like 13, 14 at LAN, and they would take my bed and I would sleep on the couch, like in my parents' house. And they've met a ton of my teammates. My grandma, my tata, watches all of our matches, pretty much every single one. She's like over 70, so 77 or so. And she watches every single match, and immediately after every single one of our games, she gives me a phone call, and it's like, and she lives in the house with us, so I just come downstairs. But she's like, "You guys played so great. Stop baiting. Start defending the bomb planter a bit better." I'm like, "All right, all right." And she was like, "That round you had with the Deagle was really good," and I was like, "Thank you." She knows what she's talking about to like an extent that I didn't think possible before. But
That is so
yeah,
cool. We're gonna need her to get
very
on
cool.
laying it down with Big D.
I mean, also to a LAN eventually maybe would be amazing. Like, but it's hard, because she's like, it's not the easiest thing for her to be able to do those things nowadays. But my one of my big motivating factors ever since she started showing an interest a couple years ago was to like qualify for LAN, not like go to a frag, but like qualify for an international or like national LAN where they would fly you out and have her come too as like a +1 kind of thing. Where like since we'd be with like an org presumably or like tournament organizers, we could work something out where she would actually be able to like enjoy it. Um, while she like is able to. So that's still a goal for me. Because she is like literally our biggest supporter, and all of my teammates can vouch for that. The team factor org can vouch for that. She's like literally the best. So uh, I don't know if there's many other grandmothers that can not only watch every game but like talk at that level and be like, you guys got to stop playing Nuke or something like that. And I'm
Right,
like, all right,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
That's like offer real advice that's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be playing Nuke or whatever. Like
Yeah, no, exactly.
that's
She's in the Twitch chat too all the time. She like types on her phone and watches it on the TV.
that's amazing. I love that so much. Well, and dude, that's I mean, that's a little preview of like think about 50 years from now when you're a grandfather with grandchildren that are getting into these things and like maybe they're getting into some new thing that we don't even know exists yet, right?
Yeah,
But like
probably, yeah.
I really think esports though, like I mean, sports, traditional sports, basketball, soccer, football, all these things have the power of bringing families together and like you know bridging the gap between generations,
Definitely.
right? And so I really think that esports will have that opportunity as well, and it's really cool to hear not just your parents, but like your grandma's supporting. My grandma has literally never been on the internet. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a joke. When the internet started, she said that's a fucking fad, and I'm not going to learn what it is, and she has
Wow.
stuck to that. She is
Wow.
91 years old. She has not ever been on the internet. She
I can't
finally
even
has a
imagine.
cell phone, but yeah, like it's and not that she doesn't support like what I'm doing. I'm just saying like, to have your grandma like down to like learn something new like that at her age is really 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 cool.
Yeah, it's
Um
special for sure. She would literally sit next to me like since I was young with a notebook, write down all of my teammates' names. Any questions she had, she would write down, and then after I was in playing, she would be like, "So what did Deagle mean?" And that's why she knows now, you know. Like, I wanted to. I've been wanting to make a video of like quizzing her on like Counter Strike stuff just for fun to see like what she'd be able to do. So we might do that because she's also interested in it. Um, but we'll see. But
sh-
like she's pretty famous. A lot of people know her in the scene, like casters and stuff. So that's kind of funny.
that
But
that
yeah, very lucky.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little more generally about NACS here.
Hmm.
Share your thoughts. It's been a wild week in NACS here alone since post Fragville, but what's on Noah's mind here?
Um, I think because I've been so integrated into Lance and stuff for like so long, it's like always been a very like a very safe space for me. Like I'm never as social as I am when I'm running up and down the aisles at a frag, talking to every single person. Even when I'm on my crutches, like crutching over to every single person to go say hi and stuff. And I think it's really important that we protect that because it's such a rare thing. I mean I haven't been to too many other esports like tournaments, so I'm sure that they have it to some degree. But I feel like what we have in NACS is so rare, I guess. And there's like obviously a lot of you know nuance, like a lot of ups and downs in everyone's individual like paths to get to be able to play this game and stuff like that. Like I don't think that I've ever been to a land where I haven't like specifically been like cut from someone's team that was at that land or like told one thing and another thing happened or like been like you know hassled in a pug because I'm dog shit and I was in Maine for 10 seasons. But at the same time, once you're like in person, the people that were doing that generally stop doing it and you're able to kind of get to know people on like a personal level and then that stops happening online, which is kind of cool. And I think that that's also kind of a rarity because I think a lot of people can get stuck in their own bubble and Lance helped to burst that bubble. So it's really important that we maintain that because I remember when I was younger, one of my two younger sisters was starting to really get into the game. She was like 9, and she had been to a LAN with me. Like actually, I think my first picture on HLTV is like me, sitting or whatever, and directly to my left is my like 9-year-old sister at the time watching me play, and she was really into it, and she was also pretty actually very good. And if she had kept up with it, I think she probably would have been on a very high level impact team. Just knowing the skill and how good she was at such a young age, and she fully quit Counter Strike and esports because of things in the scene that are, you know, not good for women specifically. And as much as I wanted to be like, oh, well, keep trying, there's good in it as well. It's like really hard to
Encourage somebody
motivate
to go
or,
like
yeah,
engage with a toxic community. It's like
yeah,
especially when you don't have to experience that toxicity yourself.
yeah, yeah. No, it's like I remember at first, like, when we were trying it, feeling it out, like, I think it was Emily, like, I reached out to her to get, like, the, uh, whatever, I can't remember what it's called. Like, the girl Discord where all, like, the
Impact, the
female and
GG
Impact
for
players,
all.
but it was before that. It was, like, a while ago. Like, before that even existed as what we have now is definitely better. Like, Impact and having Impact in the first place, but also, like, kind of attention and like deserved attention. And I like that even there like a little non sequitur, but there's a lot of discussion about teams like Ghost Gaming or even like Shimmer, or some of these other teams getting these invites to these events, and I think that they're valid to an extent of like, you know, should impact be weighted differently on VRS, whatever. I personally love to see it, even though maybe if I was a little bit more in contention for those spots, I would be less. I don't think so, honestly, just knowing myself. But those teams weren't like asking for those points to be given to
Right.
them to
They're
get to
not the
play in
ones
these
trying to
things.
finagle the system to work that way.
Exactly.
It just
Yeah.
works that way. And as we know, after 9 months now of this system, it's not a good system. And that was
Yeah.
to be expected with them in like basically they allowed the ecosystem to build for the last 15 years and then said, all right, you're not doing what we want, so we got to interject and do something. And if that happens with how big the ecosystem was, it's not going to be a flawless execution on the first try.
Yeah. And yeah,
And it may
you
be
can't hold
another
that
year
against
or
the
so
players.
before we see it get better. And yeah, you
Yeah.
can exactly. That is Valve and how Valve is figuring that out. Hold Valve accountable to this. The more angry we are about it, the less they're going to give a shit. So we have to dance that delicate line, I think. But
Yep.
I think that it like point your anger in the right direction. It is not on these girls for the system being the way it is.
And also like I don't know if this is generally noticed, but or this could be like placebo or just new players coming in. But I feel like since Impact started as a concept, it's invited a lot more people to kind of come out with, you know, who they're comfortable as, and to be able to kind of put more time into the game, and also has awakened and publicized a lot of players that I think maybe were very good but didn't have the opportunity to become very good. I mean, oh hello.
Yeah, the cat's
uh,
here.
that's good.
Dog's laying right
Aw,
there.
yeah, I wish. I wish my dog would come up. But yeah, so these are players that like were probably always good to an extent, but just became much better because Impact is a better ecosystem than existed. Like I said, when my sister was trying to get into the scene. Um, and now I'm competing on LAN, and like Bibion is on the team against me, and it's totally, not only is it normal, but she's like destroying on LAN.
Right, she's
Uh,
dominating.
yeah, exactly. And like Mad's also insane player, and also online. Literally, uh, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago against In Control had like a 2 point something HLTV rating against In Control online. So it's like these like processes take time, but it's like yielding. It's yielding exactly, I think, what it was intended for, which is to create a space where they could play and not like, play in a the whole Impact project makes full total sense to me. I think that there are things that can be better about it, but not only is it isolated to Impact, but it's like breaching out into like the scene at large, that we're having these players that are able to compete not just in Impact, but at like the higher levels of this game, maybe because of the opportunities, that wouldn't exist without Impact. So I think it's just, it's a very big thing, and I wish that it had been around slightly earlier when my sister was still interested. But at the same time, it sucks. But I almost feel happy that she didn't, pursue it, because of how much there still is in the scene to be, unfortunately, worried about, just by existing at a LAN or all of these
Well,
things.
Well, and to speak on that too, like, yeah, Impact has been a net positive both for the community and the women that would like access to this game, or women identifying people access to this game. Like, this is like the reaction from the community about how Impact performs, or like gets any attention or gets any kind of weight or anything, is like, this is exactly why Impact exists, is because you can't handle women being a part of your scene. And like, I think that it's getting better. Like you said, it's better than like when your sister tried. And I remember 20 years ago, girls just didn't play video games when I was a teenager and starting to play, right? Like, if you met a girl that played video games, you were like, holy shit, what? You play video games?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's changing, and obviously these things take time, but like, we got to be doing our part to make sure that we're welcoming of everybody in this scene. And like, if you're angry about something, that's fine. If you're having a reaction to something, that's fine. If something feels unfair, that's fine. We're not going to sit here and say, oh no, you should be grateful for whatever you get, but point that direction in the right place, right? Like, the players and the individuals that are trying to play the game, unless they are nasty, toxic, awful people, do not deserve your anger, right? Like, it's not their fault. They're trying to
Yep.
play these games. Well,
It's the same passion. It's the same, it's the same thing that draws anyone to put as much time as we all have into, what
sorry,
happened
I'm
now.
not laughing at you. My cat just like super zoomed in on your face and made you super blurry.
The cat knows what the people want, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they won't see it on stream because it was on my
Well, the
iPad
cat
here.
knows what you want then.
He thought, yeah, this is gonna be funny, huh? And it
Yeah,
was.
that's funny.
It was an
Um,
inappropriate time, but that might have
it
made
was
it
fun.
even
I mean,
funnier.
yeah, exactly. The cat has good comedic senses. Here, I'm gonna lay it down a bit also. I
Yeah,
can't push my
please
chair back much further, but this is like
make yourself
comfortable.
comfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, just like what was I even
We're
saying?
trying to we're trying to make the
uh,
scene a more welcoming space.
yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Something you said earlier about Mythic, like being a mixed team that is held to the standards of like a pro team or an ECL team because of the spotlight. I feel like that almost applies to Impact teams as well, where
Yeah,
because they have a league and a scene and
that's
are
getting
playing on a
produced
stage.
and broadcast
Yeah,
similarly to the tier 1 events. They must all be tier 1 players and performing at that level.
it's like the most unfair. Like, I want that to happen, but it's not going to happen overnight. And honestly, we shouldn't expect it to happen in general. Like, it's not. That's not what it's about. I mean, it's like it's a different product. It's still people trying to give their all to the game, having insane rounds, playing with off of each other, putting in practice, effort, communication, all of this stuff. But that doesn't mean that it's you're watching Navi or like, G2 or something playing these games. And then especially so when there's one of those rare opportunities, I guess, like in the Elite Cups and stuff where Ghost or Shimmer or FlyQuest. I mean, FlyQuest and Shimmer are obviously both you know, also in slash advanced playoffs and stuff. So it's not like any of these teams are necessarily out of place in the first place, but people like to group things together. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like in these events where like the top impact teams are playing against like the top non-impact teams, in my opinion, it's fucking sick to see like an upset or a close match or whatever. But I feel like some people are expecting like unless they win a lot of games, it's a waste of a spot. When in reality, I feel like you could take a lot of the teams that want those spots and put them in that spot, and it would probably be a similar result in terms of like just strictly the result. Maybe they win a game, maybe they lose a game, maybe they get blown out, maybe they do a big upset. But that's like every team in the whole scene. So I don't know why we're holding to a different standard just because they have like you said, a produced and whatever in a space, and it's not their fault that they are invited to these events and trying. and all of this stuff. You know, it's a good thing. So
And
I think
also, if we weren't all toxic shitheads to anybody that's not a straight white man in our community, they wouldn't need their own fucking safe space.
Yep.
Like, did put that together in your fucking rudimentary brain.
Yeah,
Somebody out there that's
100%.
none of the people. I don't think any of the
Dude,
haters watch this yet. I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
only. I think we only have an educated and sophisticated audience here, but maybe someday.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it'll keep getting bigger, and eventually, you know, that will happen. But when that happens, they can come back to this episode and become educated. And it'll be
Yeah,
good.
exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like
Yeah.
there's no woman getting into Counter Strike to go. I want to go ruin X, Y, and Z dude's time. They're getting
Yeah.
into Counter Strike for the same fucking reason we all did. It's the best game in the world. It is the most raw input of skill to a video game that you can possibly have. That is an absolutely even playing field from start to finish. And the only thing that wins is your mechanics and your intelligence and your like teamwork. That's the
Hard
it.
work and preparation. Yeah.
Hard work and preparation. That's why hardcore gamers love this game so much, and that's why even people that aren't hardcore gamers but still game regularly know that Counter-Strike is like the kind of like that's for serious gamers. You can argue about Dota and League as well, because I think that there's something similar to like MOBAs, Valorant, some of these other esports, sure. But nothing is as raw, accessible, and easy to pick up and difficult to master as Counter-Strike is. And that's why everybody gets into this game. Nobody's fucking trying to... Everybody's trying to go pro. And, and guess what? Here's the thing. If it looks like somebody has an easier path to pro, once they go actually play the professionals, they're going to get shit on and they're going to go back to where they're supposed to be. So stop stressing out. Exactly. Let it balance itself out. It's
It will happen.
It will happen.
It's a natural part of the ecosystem for sure. And yeah, it is. We want that. I mean, the game is as accessible and everything as it is. Like, because I mean, in theory, we should be welcoming of the people that are accessing it, right? It's accessible for that reason. My grandma's not gonna be able to watch like a Dota or a League or whatever, probably because of how complex it is on screen. But she got Counter-Strike pretty damn quick for someone that has never played a video game. Like, I mean, it's special.
Right.
Like,
Dota and League are the games that, like, if they're not going to be easily, like, if any esport is going to break through to a mainstream audience that does not know what esports is, it will be Counter-Strike. It will not be Dota. It will not be League of Legends. It won't be Overwatch. It won't be Valorant. It won't even be Rainbow Six Siege, right? Maybe Rocket League, because that is also so simple to understand. Maybe fighting games, but fighting games and the FGC have such a niche community that also refuses to like want any like level of professionality to it, that it's not going to break through. Counter-Strike will be that thing alongside Rocket League, and like, yeah, it's just we need to be like a more welcoming space. I think a lot of it too comes from the fact that like the anger as to why people have this, because I've talked to players when they're like angry about it, and they're like friends with like all these different players and women and play with them in pugs and respect their skill and everything. But when it comes to them getting VRS points, they're like, well, that's bullshit. Like, it's like, yeah, but that's because you feel like you don't have access to VRS points, and that you need to be mad at that. Again, coming back, be mad at the broken system instead of the individual who is participating in the thing that they're supposed to be participating in. Like,
yeah, I mean, what's the alternative? That they intentionally sit for a while until the system fixes itself,
and wait wait for you to get VRS points first. Like, that's just what everybody wants. That's why this community has a hard time with being welcoming, is the idea that it expanding and being a wider, more open audience means that there's less of a chance for them to go pro and be on top of the dog pile. And that's, I think, unfortunately, more the core issue of the average NA Counter-Strike player that refuses to go to LAN or refuses to like work with a team is they just want to be at the top of the dog pile, learning the game, getting better at it, developing the skills that make it a really useful life skill tool to like make better friends, understand your own anger and like centering yourself in high pressure situations. You know, they don't care about that. They just want to be the Flom, the Anders, the Henry G, the who they just want to be the top of the dog pile. And it's like there are more opportunities for you to have those things that you want the more people that engage with this ecosystem and the better and more robust this ecosystem becomes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think it's tough because ha having been, yeah, having been in the scene for as long as I have, you witness a lot of people that have come and gone and that still play and all this stuff that are very, very selfish. I mean, like, and this isn't me like ragging on anyone specifically. I think that it makes sense because it's a competitive game and people want to push themselves to the top by any means necessary. I pride myself to an extent on trying to get to where I'm trying to get to without the backstabbing and like the, you know, like kicking people, mutinying, stealing rosters. Obviously not worth saying, but like cheating like certain players in face at level, rank 5 in FPL or whatever it is right now, or other players that have cheated in the past. There's like shortcuts and there's ways to get through it, but I don't think it's worth sacrificing like what I love about the game to get to those through those shortcuts, I guess. I personally also have experienced a lot of those shortcuts being taken at my expense, and it's never a fun feeling. And it's never something that I really want to do to someone else. And so, when those things happen, I get it. But I think that there's a way forward for everyone where we don't have to do it as much. Um, the backstabbing and the lying and the we're all very passionate about the game, and I think it comes out in some very good ways, and I think it comes out in some very bad ways. But uh, the scene has so many good people in it, so many good people in it that have personally like helped me in various stages of my life. Very very famously, I guess for me is like this time when I was temporarily like without a house, like and a billion people reached out to me on Twitter, including players that I like looked up to, coaches, stuff like that, check in that I'm okay, kind of build me back up, and I'm right back on the horse and competing again. Things like that happen all throughout. I think Josh Little Beer just did the like needed this PC.
I was so
Uh,
thrilled to see how overwhelming support came through for him.
yeah, the community helps each other, and I bet you that Josh would help other people as well in the same
He
position. And I think
100% will.
yeah, yeah, that's what it's about. Like it's a community. It's a community for a reason. It's not. We don't call it like the NACS like fucking bracket or something like where everyone tries to like push each other down and get to the top. I mean, that's a part of it. Again, I'm not trying to like say don't be competitive. Be competitive. Fight,
Sure,
push.
but
Be like that's how we
save it
get
for
good
the
results.
server. Save it for the server.
Exactly.
Stop trying to
Then when
compete
we
with
come to
each other
LAN,
to push each other down.
yes, don't push each other down. Doesn't matter at LAN, online. Uh, Build each other up. It'll help in the long run. You'll make more friends. I have so many friends in this scene that I'm like grateful for, and it's I can't like literally can't imagine kind of going the other route, burning those bridges and trying to just like backstab my way to the top. Because I also wouldn't even be here without like some of the mentorship that I had coming up. And I say I wouldn't even be here like I'm somewhere. I
You're on laying it down with Big D, baby.
Hell yeah, and that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. So, when I was a little younger, I think I was a little bit more like league standing oriented, like results oriented kind of, and it was tough to get to where I wanted to because when you face every win and every loss like it's survival, it can put a lot of stress on you. And I think a lot of the teammates that I have had felt the same, and it doesn't give space to kind of grow as a team, grow as players, stuff like that. And I think taking a step back a little bit and just kind of acknowledging that things will come when they come and putting in the work and incremental growth and all of this is very important to actually getting to where I want to get, rather than suffering over every single mistake or loss or whatever. So yeah, I think that there's a better path forward. And hopefully the VRS fixes will come with that too.
They will.
Like, and the system will fix itself. It's not permanently busted,
Counter-Strike's
as
not
sad
going
as it can be.
anywhere.
Exactly. People
Nobody's
have
gonna
taken
just
breaks and
stop
come
playing
back.
it. Yeah, nobody's just gonna
Yeah.
stop playing it because the system's broken. Like,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be broken until it fixes itself. It's
And some people might benefit from that, but that doesn't mean that they're doing it on purpose. And some people might be disadvantaged by it, and hopefully things will balance themselves out once we're through this
and there's gonna
testing
be
period.
And guess what? There's going to be bad actors in the space, no matter what space that is. And just because there's a bad actor in some space does not mean it's representative of that space overall. Just like there's plenty of bad actors in NACS overall, it does not represent NACS. What does represent NACS is Fragadelphia. Go to a fucking Fragland and go see what NACS really looks like, because
100%.
you will find a weekend full of passionate Counter Strikers who spent their hard-earned fucking cash to go to play an event, travel across the country to play Counter Strike, and be with their friends all weekend and talk Counter Strike. That is NACS. It is not whatever bad actor is being a piece of shit or whatever anywhere at any time. That's just a bad actor being a bad actor. And we condemn those behaviors and we learn from them and we move on. And we hope that bad actors learn and grow from those things, right? Like,
I think that's another thing about this scene that, I mean, it's not like fully everyone, but a lot of people in the scene generally, at least from what I've seen, are willing to give chances to grow for people that have made mistakes in the past. It's up to those people if they want to take those chances, and to grow off of them. But I feel like the scene, generally speaking, isn't like a okay, you're permanently gone forever kind of thing,
right.
unless it's warranted, in which case fine. But I feel like if people genuinely put in the effort to kind of show that they're able to get better and do better and be better, then the scene is not like a brick wall. You can. It's not like don't give up. If you've done some fucked up shit, like, that's terrible. Take the time and reflect on that. But then the scene is still here, and if you do the steps that to reflect on that and kind of build yourself back up and prove that you can be better than you were, then I think that genuinely this scene is more welcoming than some might expect to
I
that.
I can attest to that, Noah. And to wrap this up, and as one of
Yeah.
our final thoughts here, I can attest to that because that happened to me earlier this year. I was struggling at the beginning of this year, right after I went to my first LAN last year. I was struggling and I was being a big doofus on social media, and I even had a really poor broadcast where I made a fool out of myself, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Hmm.
It wasn't the end of the world, but people were like rightfully going to step away from me for a moment and say, "Hey, you figure out what you need to figure out." But I learned from that moment. I said I'm going to do better, and I have been putting in that effort. And now, 8 months later, I am very much a part of the scene, and I know better from that mistake. And people can trust that can trust me that I'm not going to make that kind of mistake again, right? And like, there is genuine accountability that's being held to the people in this community if you allow it to happen to yourself. You have to let it happen to yourself. You can't just keep sticking to your guns and finding what niche will accept your shitty behavior until it's just you in an echo chamber, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the cool things about being connected by a hobby, is we're going to all be from wildly different walks of life and not just one kind of community that we are from. Like, this one thing connects us all, and the more that we can learn from each other, forgive each other, hold each other accountable, it's it it only gets better from there. And I
Yeah, if you choose to. Yeah.
if you choose to let it, if you choose to let
Yeah.
it. All right, dude,
Yeah,
I've got
100%.
I've got a couple of last questions here. This is a banger episode, by the way. Holy shit. My God, Braxton, I hope you're enjoying this. That's he's gonna
So funny.
unsubscribe. He's gonna
Yeah,
unsubscribe
he's
now
gone. He's
listening
gone.
to this. No, I'd have a couple of last questions here, the same ones I always ask everybody. One, where does the name Nova come from?
Yeah, first name Noah, last name Vaknin. Put the first two of the first name, first two of the last name, same capitalization, and you get Nova. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, my mom might have helped me come up with that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not 100% sure. I feel like I have that memory. But yeah,
We can give her
Nova.
credit.
Yeah, sure, she did
Yeah, nice
it.
job, Mom. You love to see it. All right, and then my last question I ask everybody, and not like there hasn't been plenty of life advice in this episode, but I think we got a good handle on NACS there. What if you could talk to a younger version of yourself, maybe the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed uh, little fella that was going to his first LAN event, um, what would be some advice you would give them? It could be Counter Strike or life or don't get on the subway with a broken foot advice related
Real.
whatever you want. This is your opportunity to get on a soapbox and preach.
Um, I think I got some very good advice in my senior year of college from Rena from STX. Because we went to college together.
We
We
love
won three
Rena.
national championships together. Yeah, I watched that episode too. But yeah, so she gave me some very good advice that kind of stuck with me, and so I think that's at least half the answer, which is the song Vienna by Billy Joel. Slow down, it's waiting for you, all of that stuff. Try not to be in a rush, because I think that a part of me as a young guy in the scene, whether it be, I think it impacted my results a lot. That I was constantly like, I have to make main playoffs or else I'm dead. I have to make advance this season or else whatever. And I think it gave me both a little bit of a it made me play worse, which reflected badly, and then it put me in this endless spiral of Maine where I was in Maine for like 800,000 seasons, which hurt my reputation and all of this. So definitely half the advice is, take your time. The game is still there. You're still here. Like you can put in the time. It's not going anywhere. Like if you had told me like 8 years ago, like that 8 years from now, like I'm still playing. I'm still in a similar division to where I was, which is terrible, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, there she is. It doesn't really matter because you know, the results aren't indicative of the gain that I have had, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's okay to kind of take your time a little bit and not be full steam ahead and have things come when they will. Maybe stick to a project that you were planning on leaving or dissolving or whatever. And then I think the second big piece of advice that I would give to my younger self is to maybe care less about what other people think. I was ruled by people's opinions for a very long time. You know, I would try to, I remember, I'll be brief because I know we're ending, but the power ranking video that I made, like a couple of those back in the day for like main and stuff, I was trying to do it because it would be fun, and then I had no idea that like that would result in like me being known as like some guy that nobody wants to play with, or that I'm stuck in Maine all this time and that I don't know what I'm talking about, and like that it would negatively impact my rep. But I guess what I would say is rather than not do it, just to not care about what other people think because I was doing it for myself, not to care about that. I became known as that guy that's going to be in Maine forever because eventually I made top six in advance, like as the primary operator in my role, like playing with very good players. So I think it's good to take advice, it's good to take criticism, but take it from those that are giving it with in good faith. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
in
say.
good faith.
Listen to the people that are worth listening to. Don't isolate yourself from those very valuable opinions, even if they're coming from places you wouldn't expect. But also know how to block out very, very bad faith noise, because there's a lot of that in the scene as well. But there's so much good in the scene that you can definitely find a way to navigate through the bad and kind of gain a lot, both in the game and in real life from the good.
I agree. I think that's very well said, Noah. Yeah. Take it at your own pace. Know that it'll all be there. There's no real race. There's no real race. Either you're going to be a prodigy that soars to the top immediately, or you're going to be a guy that enjoys this journey for a while. And the more that you're accepting of what's happening to you and listening to the people that actually care about you, then you're gonna land in a spot that's gonna make you happy someday. So just trust the process, baby. I like
Hell
that.
yeah. Trust
All
the
right,
process.
all right, Noah. I got as our last thing here, just like hot ones. This camera, this camera, this camera. If you wanna let the people know what you got going, any shout outs, plugs, where they can
For
find
sure.
you, lay it down.
I'll lay it down. Big shout out to, because she came up a billion times, my grandma and my family for being so supportive of everything that I do. Really, for no reason almost, to the extent that they do so. So I appreciate it eternally. Shout out to all the friends that I've made in this scene. Everyone is welcome to come talk to me at LAN. If you ever see me at a LAN, I'm like the opposite of a brick wall. I'm probably gonna come talk to you before you even talk to me. So just be welcome. I'm happy to always talk. That also goes for whatever my advice is worth, depending on the level that I've played. Like, I'm always happy to help people that I can help in the scene, because I think we all bring each other up, and that mentorship was necessary for me to get better at the game. So I know that offering it to others will only, can really be like a light for people that don't know where to go or what to do. And shout out to my teammates for being patient as we rebuild this project. Anyone that's interested, genuinely reach out to me. Just like, be decently good and want to put in the time and the effort. And shout out to you for having me on. I think that's basically it. But yeah, this is really fun.
Hell yeah, dude. This is an amazing episode. I appreciate that, and appreciate everybody at home watching. And yeah, you're welcome back anytime. Someday we're gonna start doing part two episodes. We were gonna do a
Yeah.
part two episode for somebody, but they've recently gotten to some hot water in the scene, and we're gonna just let things kind of cool off until they're ready to bring it back in. But you, however,
Understandable.
Noah, you're welcome anytime. This was a lot of fun, and yeah, thank you all for watching, and thanks for joining me, man. This was a hoot.
Yeah, thanks everyone. And thank you, Big D. I will do this thing now where I'm gonna lay down my chair.
Okay, perfect. Right as I'm turning this off. All right.
Right as it's all going away. There we
And
go.
that is